Welcome to another OTG video. My name is Bradford, your narrator for this adventure. There's no plot or plan for today's video. We're doing some housekeeping on our GTA 5 modded directory, testing some of the mods we added since the reinstall back in August, but have not used. We decided to use Outlying landing field El Gordo since it's away from anything and free of obstructions. The very long runway comes in handy. On certain checkouts like this one, we film it also. This US Navy CH-46 Sea Knight was extracted from an older directory and installed, so a test flight is in order. In real life, this Boeing Vertal CH-46 first flew in 1958 and was introduced into the fleet in 1964, produced primarily for the United States Marine Corps as an all-weather troop transport. They were also acquired by the US Navy for vertical ship-to-ship replenishment and sea combat support, as shown in the mod we're using in this video. The CH-46 is referred to by its crew as the Frog, because of the helicopter's stance while sitting on the tarmac and the baby Chinook. Compared to its tandem rotor cousin produced by the same company, the CH-47 Chinook. The airframe was retired in 2015, being replaced by the MV-22 Osprey tilt rotor. However, in 2021, during the evacuation in Afghanistan, a US State Department CH-46 was seen in operation during the chaotic pullout. Another extraction from the older directory is this Grumman E-2D Hawkeye airborne warning and control platform. We're gonna fly a pattern with this aircraft. The Grumman E-2 first flew in 1960 with fleet introduction in 1964. The D model first flew in 2010 and is currently in service today. A carrier-based aircraft that is launched to fly to the edge of the carrier battle group's radar range and extend it. Due to the curvature of the Earth, ship-based radar detects straight line of sight, not around the curve. The Hawkeye, being in an elevated position, can see beyond the Earth's curvature to a certain degree, for a lack of better words. This platform can detect over 3,000 contacts in the air and on the ground simultaneously, 360 degrees in real time. It can also communicate via data link to F-14 Tomcats when they were in service, FA-18 Super Hornets, the Lockheed F-35, P-8 Poseidon patrol aircraft, MQ-4 Triton drones, naval vessels, as well as other aircraft, and vector them to threats in the area. The E-2 also has interoperability via data link with US Air Force and NATO assets. The Hawkeye can also perform battleground management for deployed US Army, Marine, or NATO ground forces, control the airspace as ATC, assist in finding and tracking downed aircraft and sailors lost at sea, rescue operations, and drug smuggling interdiction with the US Coast Guard. During the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, 3 US Navy E-2 Hawkeyes controlled the airspace during relief efforts in the disaster areas. This platform has a crew of 5, 2 pilots and 3 systems operators. With the E-2D, the glass cockpit offers the flexibility for the co-pilot to become the 4th systems operator if the workload dictates it. They can click into and see what's happening in theater. And this is the workstation for the 3 systems operators. This mod is painted in VAW-123 Screwtops livery, the squadron's signature spiral painted on top of its rotodome. There are no E-2s assigned to Fort Zancudo. This one is on a detachment to the base due to the uptick of Russian bomber flights near the island of San Andreas. They're extra insurance if the ATC for the region goes down for any reason. Other E-2s and US Air Force E-3 sentries will come to San Andreas on occasion to extend the range for the tower at Licia Airport and Honolulu Center, ATC. It's considered valuable training for the air crews. This McDonnell Douglas F-4E Phantom is being ferried from Fort Zancudo to make room there. This is a test airframe for the Hellenic Air Force, since they still fly the F-4E. The last Phantom squadrons left the US inventory in 2016 with the retirement of the QF-4 target program. This airframe is painted in the Southeast Asia livery that was common during the Vietnam War. This is the F-4E model. The longer nose is to house the M61 Vulcan 20mm rotary Gatlin-style cannon. The Phantom was originally designed without a gun, and it became problematic during the Vietnam War. Sometimes they were too close to use a missile in a dogfight, and could have used the cannon if they had one. The later E models remedied the issue. As history repeats, the F-35B and C models do not have an internal gun, rather a removable gun pod mounted underneath the airframe for combat air support missions. We're pulling to the left while braking. We'll have to address this some way at a later date. We have an X-62 transiting the area from Stonehenge Space Force Base to Fort Zancudo. Pilot Major Jessica Martin and Weapons Systems Officer Lainey Jackson have just finished a mission there and is heading home. As they check in with El Gordo's tower, Jessica decides to request an approach to fly over their runway. Having plenty of fuel left, it was time to be nosy and see the ships moored at the airstrip. The General Dynamics X-62 program, built on an existing F-16 Delta airframe, is a Skyborg system for autonomous control of simulation. It's operated by the Test Pilot School at Edwards Air Force Base and is an AI test bed, among other things. The X-62 can mimic many different aircraft handling characteristics for test pilots. It has a thrust vectoring nozzle and a more robust landing gear for the different sink rate profiles of the various aircraft models installed into its flight computer. It is used in student curriculum studies, flight research, and special academic programs. The X-62 is autonomous. On April 28, 2024, the US Air Force and DARPA announced the successful engagement of the X-62 against a human-piloted F-16 fighter jet in the first ever recorded dogfight against an AI-controlled aircraft. Here in the OTG universe, it's stored at Stonehenge, but the aircrew is ferrying it to Zancudo for some maintenance. This ends our engagement. See you next time.